Hey people, it's Nias talking. So this is from Independent. Explain that France in a sticky situation amid crisis in Mali. France is facing its toughest challenge in Africa in years. What to do about thousands of French troops stationed in junta-led Mali, the core of a major international anti-terrorism operation in the increasingly restive Sahel region? The answer is simple: pull out. Let's keep going. France is facing its toughest challenge. Mali's coup leaders ordered France's ambassador to leave the West African country this week, the latest episode in a growing diplomatic crisis between Mali and its African neighbors and European partners. A military pullout from Mali, where French forces have been active since 2013, would shake up the region. No, it wouldn't. France is the biggest cause of instability there through its looting of West Africa's and Africa's resources. If they would simply stop taking all the resources and money from countries like Mali and Burkina Faso, which has also had a coup, they would be well off and have way more money to spend on their people and to stop coups from happening because of discontent. Let's keep going. Paris insists that Mali's military rulers have not stuck to their promise to hold new democratic elections by the end of this month, as was demanded by the West African regional bloc ECOWAS and other international partners. Who offered Paris to demand that Mali do anything? I thought, they were supposed to be independent. So, do they now have to do what they say? Colonel Assimi Goïta, who grabbed power in August 2020 coup, already had carried out a second coup by dismissing the civilian leaders in Mali's transitional government and putting himself in charge last year. Tensions further escalated when they're not writing this properly. When Goïta postponed the next presidential vote until 2026, ECOWAS responded to the delay by imposing more sanctions on Mali. Then last week, the Malian government ordered Danish soldiers out of the country. The Danes had recently arrived to join a European-led military task force known as Takuba. The issue we are facing is not a French-Malian issue. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian said Tuesday it's an issue between the Europeans, the Africans, and Mali. Now, Norway this week reversed the decision to take part in the force, and Germany is discussing what to do about its deployment. The EU has been considering imposing sanctions on Mali with support from France, but so far no decision has been made. Why has Mali's government taken issue specifically with France? Macron drew the ire of Mali's military leader when he said in June last year that ECOWAS has made a mistake in allowing Goïta to become president after his second coup deposed the civilian transitional leader, saying it's a bad signal to African neighbors. Is Macron not the guy who told African women off? Stop having so many kids. Just angry and envious that the French women are not having children. So try and stop them. This guy just hates these black people in Africa to having anything. He sees them having up 2 pennies to rub together and he thinks they shouldn't have one. Several top officials in Mali's... where did I stop? Several top officials in Mali's transitional government, including Defense Minister Sadio Kamara and Prime Minister Choguel Maiga, are seen as favoring closer ties with Russia instead of France, the former colonial power. Tensions are further inflamed when Maiga went on to tell the UN General Assembly that France had abandoned Mali. What's France's... That would be good if they would stop looting, if that would actually be true. They've not abandoned Mali, they've just abandoned whatever few benefits they were getting from it. What's France's new strategy in the Sahel region? France has started withdrawing troops from Mali 9 years after its first intervened to drive Islamic terrorists from power in northern Mali. France has shut down its bases in Mali's northern centers of Timbuktu, Kidal, and Tessalit in recent months, but has maintained its presence in Gao, near a volatile border region where operations have been concentrated in recent years. France's so-called Barkhane force, which is involved in Mali, Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania, has decreased from 5,500 troops to 4,800, with a goal to reduce further to about 2,500 troops over the long term. When making the announcement last year, President Emmanuel Macron said the operation was no longer suitable for the needs of the Sahel region. France instead wants to focus on supporting specialized regional forces and neutralizing extremist operations by militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. The fight against terrorism remains France's top priority. No, looting Africa's resources is their top priority. But Defense Minister Florence Parly suggested changes could soon affect the country's presence in Mali, even if French troops will remain involved in other countries of the Sahel region. We cannot stay in Mali at any price. Parly travels Thursday to neighboring Niger to discuss the future of the force. France's foreign minister said on Tuesday that the fight against terrorism will continue in the Sahel. It will continue with the consent of the region's countries. And you have to think about what this is. Basically, a government came to power that said get out, and they said, okay, we need you to step down and let another government come back in power that will let us stay. Typical French politics. What about Russia's Wagner mercenary group? French diplomacy campaigned last year to prevent the Malian junta from making a deal with Russian mercenary group Wagner in vain. Paris warned that such a deal will be incompatible with its anti-terrorism strategy in the country. Wagner has been accused of human rights abuses in Central African Republic and involvement in the conflict in Libya. In December, France and 15 European countries condemned in a joint statement the Malian Transitional Authority's decision to allow the deployment of Wagner forces and accused Moscow of supporting the private military company's use of mercenaries in the West African country. Le Drian recently said that Wagner mercenaries are using the country's resources in exchange for protecting the junta. The audacity of the French talking about people using the country's resources. They are plundering Mali and stopping us plundering it. Wagner is using the weakness of some African states to increase Russia's influence on the continent. Le Drian added in an interview to French newspaper Journal Jour de Manche, the Malian government has acknowledged that Russian soldiers are present in the country to train Malian soldiers. Last month, the EU slapped sanctions on 8 people and 3 oil companies linked to Wagner. So from what I've gathered over the last few days on social media is that overall the change in government in Mali is a good thing for the people of Mali and that they are resisting French colonial domination. And I would say that everybody who can hear this and know what I'm talking about should boycott France to show support for the people of Mali and Burkina Faso, and even when they get what they want, just keep boycotting them. France is a very evil nation that has looted Africa for many, many years. Peace.